We're looking at practice clips from minicamp and OTAs. Today, we're looking at the Dallas Cowboys. We're getting a good look at George Pickens. We're going to watch him catch some balls, run some routes, work through some drills, and everything else. Before we dig in, though, you need to click that subscribe button right now because training camp's right around the corner. We're looking at these practice clips. We're looking at your rookies. We're going to be looking at George Pickens, guys on new teams, those quarterback battles, and, of course, those guys you're drafting in fantasy football. This is the most important time of the season to make those picks. And you're going to want to know what those players are doing behind the scenes. Click that button. Stop missing out right now. We're looking at George Pickens. We're going to be going over the clips, but we're getting ready for training camp. We're going to talk about what we want to see, what we're going to forecast, what we've been seeing, what we've been hearing, and everything else. Everything else, the peripherals. We're talking about Jaydon Blue because you guys love Jaydon Blue. Phil Moffitt. We'll talk about them as well. Talk about everybody. But here's George Pickens. George Pickens added to this team. And I've done videos here. I've done videos on TikTok. A lot of people are overthinking this or underthinking this. This is a huge ad. And Dak Prescott said he's healthy. And Pickens looking like he's gelling well with Lamb. Looking like he's gelling well pretty good with Lamb. Pickens is there. What did we see with the Steelers? Not recently, but the start of his career as he ramped up. Things looked good. Things looked good. He was making plays downfield. He was bullying DBs. Nasty at the catch point, getting downfield. What's another thing is different with the Cowboys than with the Steelers here. He does not have to be the wide receiver one. He doesn't have to overextend himself because they already got that. So really, he can just play bully ball downfield and be aggressive. Fighting for another contract. This is a playmaker. We saw this out of Georgia. He would have went higher in the draft. He wasn't coming back from an injury. He would have been a lot higher in the draft. This is a player that was trending pretty well. Now he doesn't have to be a wide receiver one. He can be that guy on the opposite side of CeeDee Lamb, pushing it downfield. When he's covered, he's open. When he's covered, you still throw it up to him. And you're going to have to account for that. You can't put your best DB on him because what are you going to do with Lamb? You can't always keep safeties over top because eventually they're going to figure out what to do with running back. You can't always do that. And you got Lamb underneath and Lamb up top. Lamb can go anywhere because he is a top-tier talent in the league. And Pickens just stretching the boundary down the sideline. So what are we expecting out of Pickens? Let's talk about training camp. More of the same. More of the same. I think he's going to gel well with his team. He's at least going to have a good start with the Dallas Cowboys. I believe 2025 will be a good year for him. As long as he stays healthy, injuries account for every player. But as long as he stays healthy, George Pickens is going to have a good season. As long as Dak stays healthy, I think George Pickens is going to be a nice addition to this team. It's really going to help out Dak because you got a younger wide receiver here that's a threat. Doesn't have to hold on the ball as long. He knows he's open downfield even though he's covered. We can push it downfield. You don't have to worry as much. They're trying to make changes to the offensive line. That's a problem. That's an issue. That's a transition point. Whatever you want to say. They're retooling, rebuilding there. Whatever you want to say, that's something to look at there. I'm not overlooking that. That is something that could be a hang-up, but just adding another wide receiver there that can get downfield and make plays, that's going to alleviate some pressure on this offense. Alleviate, whatever. I ain't perfect, but we're looking at George Pickens, who's not perfect either. He's not perfect either. He had his mess-ups there with the Steelers. Things did not end well. However, things started out pretty well. So, from what I've seen and from what we've seen, we definitely know this about Pickens, that he can be a fiery dude. He plays with a lot of passion. He plays with the emotion on his shoulders. I expect to see that in joint practices. I expect things to get heated with him. But the thing is that maybe this is what this team needed overall. Maybe they needed some more dog out of this team, honestly. Like, he's going to be upset if they lose non-set games. However, against these cornerback twos, he's going to be bullying them. You're going to have moments where he's pushing guys around, shoving DBs. You're going to have him just fighting for the ball in the air. Like, you're going to see him bring it every single play. We saw that with Justin Fields last year in training camp. Last year was a laser light show at Steelers training camp. I have all the clips. It's up here on the channel. Go watch every single one of those. Just search my name, Justin Fields Steelers. George Pickens is in there. He's lighting it up. He's lighting it up. And we thought that Justin Fields was going to light it up. Well, he had some moments, but some down moments. But it was really George Pickens. George Pickens can carry this. If CeeDee Lamb gets banged up, this team's not out. Like, George Pickens can step into a much larger role, getting more opportunity. If you're looking at this for fantasy football, there's two things that can help you out with your decision. I think he's going to get a good average depth of target. I think his average depth of target is going to be well above 10, which means we're going to get deep balls downfield. So he's going to be a splash option. There's going to be weeks where he goes off, where he gets that touchdown, a couple big targets downfield. He brings them in. He's also going to get an okay target share. He's probably going to be roughly around 20%. It could be 19, it could be 21, it could be 22. He's going to be roughly around 20%. I think low games, he'll be around 4 to 5 target range. I think he's going to have games where he's 7, 8, 9 targets, but a lot of them deep. It's like some of these game scripts are just going to blow open, and they're going to have to game script up, and they're going to have to pass more. That's just the way it is. They're going to have to push it downfield. That's just how football works. There's going to have some game scripts where you're looking at the matchup, you got 50 over under, and you just know that, hey, this could be a Pickens moment. Like, if you're playing daily fantasy football, Pickens will be a little bit cheaper than what he's been due to competition for targets with Lamb, due to being a little bit volatile due to that. He will be a little bit volatile. Like I'm saying, there's going to be some down games numbers-wise, but also some up games number-wise. That's what that says, and I think the volatility is going to be grand due to the target share being okay and the ADOT being high. I believe that. I think Dak's going to look good this year. Despite what we're seeing with the offensive line, I think Booker's going to look solid. I haven't talked much about Booker this year, but I thought that was a solid pick. Like, it was a reach, of course. Like, they overpaid draft capital-wise for him. But when you look at the interior offensive line spot in the draft, it wasn't very deep, it wasn't very top-heavy, and he was the top-heavy. And if you were going to get Booker, you were going to have to get him early. Any team. Like, you're going to have to pay up a little bit high to get him. And he was a transcendent piece of that interior offensive line spot in this year's draft. Like, there's not much competition at the top at interior offensive line this year's draft. Booker was the dude. Now, he's going to be a road grader. He's smart. Have you ever heard that guy talk? Sounds like a doctor. That's what you're seeing from Booker. He's going to be on this team. It's going to be in the 2030s. He's going to be on multiple contracts. He's going to be a big part of this team for a long time. I think the odds of him busting is not very good. What can we see out of him his rookie season? I don't know, but there's a lot of potential there. I think he's going to be fighting to be on the field, and we're going to watch him in training camp. I'm excited to look at these training camp clips. Beat writers got to cook. The Cowboys, my main gripe with them is not letting the beat writers cook. I have to go to these news outlets and just pick apart the clips. That's how I've been able to get the Cowboys clips. I had to go to the news channels that post on YouTube and just pick it apart. You know how much time that takes? A little bit of time compared to other beat writers. They're not letting their beat writers cook. Let them cook. Let us see them on the field. Let's see how these players are developing. But from what I'm seeing, he's looking good. He's looking solid. Looking good on the field. I look for him to get around the 20-ish% target share, a good average depth of target. I look for him to be volatile, upside dandy. I look for him to be great for best ball, great for DFS. He might have moments this season where he's a huge head scratcher in redraft and games where he just blows up and you're like, whoa, that won me my week. He's going to be like that. CeeDee Lamb's still going to be CeeDee Lamb. I think Dak Prescott is the asset to look at here. And if you're looking to go a little bit cheaper at quarterback, the fact that they added another prime wide receiver, that's impeccable. That's great to look at. That's great for him. The run game. Oh my goodness, Miles Sanders and Javonte Williams is the battle I never knew I did not want to miss out on. But that is the battle to look at here. Reports from minicamp OTAs that Miles Sanders is winning the job. But as we know in this channel, Miles Sanders is a training camp warrior. He's a camp warrior. He always looks his best in training camp. We get in season, the coach is like, oh my God, this has been a mistake. We saw that last year with the Panthers. Canales was there saying, oh my goodness, we're going to have to split this backfield up. We're going to have to split the touches up. Chuba and Miles going into the season. I have that documented. I covered that with you guys. Like, hey, watch out for this. That Saints game comes around. They're like, what did we do? What did we do? And next thing you know, it was the Chuba show for the rest of the year. But Miles Sanders was still getting sprinkled in a little by little. He had a couple games where he ran 20-plus routes, like 2 or 3 of them. He's okay in the passing game. Teams like to use him in the passing game. Javonte Williams, good vision, good size. We got to see what happens in training camp with his backfield. Phil Maffa's got some size. Big running back. A big hammer. Jaydon Blue, we know we're suffering from fumbleitis. We know that, but nothing a little penicillin can't fix. We got speed to burn, though, when we catch the ball in the backfield. When we catch the ball in the backfield, we got speed to burn. We don't have to be the main guy here. You may just have a committee. You may just have to figure it out. That's the thing. You might have another running back coming to this team. Somewhere down the line. Maybe not. Because that's all speculatory and deals are very, very hard to conjure up. But the thing is, I like Phil Maffa as a late dart throw. He's growing on me. Dealt with a shoulder issue last year. It was supposed to be his time. If he didn't have that shoulder issue, he might have been drafted higher because that guy can bring the thump. He was sharing the backfield with Will Shipley. Will Shipley, high-end 4-star, 5-star recruit, depending on the service you were looking at during the recruiting rankings. But a guy that can be used in multiple different ways. He was a good prospect. Maffa's a good prospect. Maffa could be more than realized here. That's the thing about this. That could be that injury discount you're getting. You got to pay attention to him. Jaydon Blue's got the speed. Everybody's excited about Jaydon Blue. And I understand. I like the young guys. And the thing, about this team, this backfield, the Cowboys. My lips are kind of jacked up. I went to a Reds game last night. All you can eat potato chips. My mouth is dry, so I'm fluttering words. But the thing about this backfield that I'm excited about it's so ambiguous. It's so ambiguous that anything could happen. We just got to get through training camp. And that's why you need to click that subscribe button right now, because I'll have the clips. We'll be doing the rundown probably almost every day, because they're going to let them cook in training camp. They always have. At least to some degree. We'll have those practice clips. We'll be bringing those up. And we'll be talking about this backfield every day. We'll be talking about George Pickens. We'll be talking about CeeDee Lamb. It's all going to be right here. Click that button. Stop missing out. I want to thank you for watching. Catch you on the next one.